Did you hear about Santa's secret project?
No, what's Santa's secret project?
It's a brand new toy for all the boys and girls. Guess what it is?
It's gotta be the gun?
No.
No.
Try again.
A new doll.
Close.
No? Oh, tell me.
It's a new dancing, singing princess that's going to waltz around.
What? Oh.
Hi everyone, my name's Holly.
And I'm Lolly, and we are elves.
We work for a very special person.
The boss man.
The big man himself.
The jolly big man. Santa Claus!
Now, he couldn't be here himself. It's a very busy time of year. The busiest.
But we managed to sneak away from the workshop room. I asked Sprinkles to cover for me.
That's funny, because I asked Sprinkles to cover for me.
Yeah, I know. That's why I asked Twinkle to step in for you.
Are you sure? Because if I get in trouble, then you're going to get in trouble, and then we'll both just
get in trouble. I know. Take a snow cone. Can we please do what we're here to do?
What are we here to do again?
Tell these lovely folks all the stories.
Oh, of course. I forgot.
So, as I was saying, we're here to tell you all about Santa Claus.
Oh, and about the workshop room and the reindeer and everything as well.
Well, yeah, but Santa first.
Okay.
So, it's important to say that Santa is old.
So old.
Really old?
Like really.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, they get it?
Okay.
Some stories say that he originated from Turkey.
Turkey? But he lives in Lapland, which is in Finland.
Yeah, but just because you live somewhere doesn't mean you're from there.
Oh yeah, good point.
Other sources say Germany, and some say Italy.
But I've never heard him speak German, and he doesn't even like spaghetti, so there's no way he's Italian.
Well, he speaks all languages, Holly.
Oh.
So, wherever he is from, he's always been known to help people in need, especially children, giving gifts and granting wishes.
Oh, and he's also known for flying across the sky with the help of his reindeer, you know, Rudolph and
Dasher and Prancer and Jeff.
Maybe you guys could name the rest of the reindeer. Yeah, exactly.
Well done. And of course, he's known for coming into people's houses through the chimneys.
I've always wondered, Lolly, how does he come into the houses with no chimneys?
Well, with the magic pixie dust.
Oh, of course. Then how did he end up in Lapland?
Well, he met Mrs. Claus one faithful Christmas Eve, and the rest is history.
Oh, true romance. Now can I tell him about the workshop room?
Snowboard.
Okay. A day in the life of an elf. So, we usually get up around 6 o'clock and we put on our uniform and then we head down and have breakfast. It's always on the table, but we never know who makes it or who puts it there.
It really is a mystery. Nobody knows.
Then, around 7, we head to the workshop room. Each elf is given a specific apron that's infused with specific magic for specific tasks. Each apron is different. And then we go to the hot chocolate station.
No elf can start their day without their hot chocolate. My favorite is primrose chocolate infused with vanilla.
And my favorite is marshmallow flavored chocolate with raspberry induced violets. Anyways, our day usually starts from there. I usually start on the left side of the workshop room and I rotate clockwise around the right curvature on the wall, separating blue tassels from red ribbons.
And I start in the center, painting the dolls' faces.
After that, it's lunchtime and we head to the waffle station. My favorite is green berry syrup with rainbow cream.
Oh, and my favorite is sugar-coated gummy strings tied into silver wafer bows.
And then, in the afternoon, each of the elves teach the soon-to-be dancing dolls all of the dances, such as the waltz, ballet, the tango, oh, and of course,
The Jerusalem.
and some of the other elves teach the teddy bears how to make a picnic.
By that time, it's dinner. Holly, I'm starting to feel a little hungry.
Oh, me too. Do you think we're going to make it back in time for dinner?
Hopefully. Do you think it'll be there when we get there?
It always is. Anyways, I'm almost finished, I promise. After that, it's dinner time, which is every dessert that exists in the world. And then, for my favorite time of the day, it's
Story time with Santa and Mrs. Claus.
So all of the elves gather around the open fire with Santa and Mrs. Claus, and they all tell us stories about their favorite people that they've met and places that they've been. Like my favorite story is the one where Santa saved Jack Frost from the sun.
Oh. And my favorite is when we went on tour with Elvis. Oh.
That was such a good story. It really is my favorite time of every day. But we should probably be heading back now.
Indeed, if you want to make it back for dinner. Thank you for tuning in, and we hope you enjoyed our stories.
Oh, and if you ever make it to Lapland, ask for me, Holly.
Or me, Lolly.
Goodbye and Merry Christmas. Text Sprinkles, make sure he knows we're coming back.
I use a more reliable way and send it by pixie dust.
Good idea. I didn't know that your favorite waffle was the one with the silver wafers and the gummy ones.
Oh, it's the best.
It is a good one.
It's the best.
It's still rolling.
I see that.
Guten Tag, and welcome everyone. Allow me to make myself comfortable before I begin. Let me introduce myself. My name is Ernst Theodor Wilhelm Hoffmann, and I'm here to tell you about a story which I wrote long ago. When I first wrote it, I didn't realize it would inspire a whole musical composition by Piotr Tchaikovsky, or be turned into a famous ballet by Maurice Petipa. And now, every year, it is brought back to life on stages around the world. Now, is everyone comfortable? Let me bring you into this beautiful and fantastical story. The Nutcracker and the Mouse King. It is Christmas Eve in the house belonging to the Stolbaum family. The children, Marie and Fitz, were wondering and waiting with excitement to see what type of beautiful gift their godfather, Drosselmeyer, has made them. You see, Drosselmeyer was a clockmaker and inventor and would spend many months creating a spectacular gift that transported the children to another world. The parents fetched Marie and Fritz and brought them into the sitting room, for it was now time to open their presents. As they walked into the room, they were struck by the magnificent Christmas tree, which stood taller than any year before. It was adorned by sparkling decorations and surrounded by beautiful gifts, such as new dolls, a rocking horse, and there it was, a castle built by Drosselmeyer. It depicted a beautiful ball. It was a mechanical masterpiece. It had dancing dolls and enchanting music and rainbow waterfalls. But soon, the children grew bored of the repetitive mechanism. And it was then that Marie noticed a strange red object sitting on the sideboard. When she went over to inspect it, she realized It was a nutcracker in the shape of a soldier. It belonged to the family, but since Marie was so fond of it, she would be its special keeper. Fritz spent the rest of the evening playing with his toys, but Marie spent all her time with the nutcracker, telling it stories and making it up as she went along. It was getting late, and the children went to bed in anticipation of Santa Claus's visit. It was very important that they were asleep by the time he arrived. The house was silent, and not a movement in sight. The children were deeply dreaming of wonderful things. The clock struck midnight. Dong! Dong! But still, silence. Then, suddenly, Marie shot up in her bed to the sound of tiny footsteps scurrying across the floor. The light of the moon pierced through the curtain, and Marie saw a mouse, but it was running on 2 legs instead of 4. It also dawned on her that he was wearing an army uniform. Thinking she must still be dreaming, Marie rubbed her eyes, but when she opened them, she saw another one, and then another one. No, she was not dreaming. It was then she heard a loud bang come from the sitting room. A little afraid, she decided to wake her brother Fritz. At first, Fritz was a little amused by his sister's rants. And then he too heard a loud bang, followed by the sound of tiny voices. They decided to creep down the stairs, and when they reached the bottom, they saw a light coming from the sitting room. The door was ajar, and they peered into it. Now, what they saw? It was mesmerizing. The sitting room was split into a battlefield. On the one side there were the mice dressed in their uniforms, and leading them was the Mouse King. He stood taller than the rest, with a tiny crown upon his head. He was barking orders left and right. And then, on the other side, Marie realized there were her dolls. But they were not dancing. They were holding Fritz's toy soldier swords, and they were spinning and swiping and spinning and swiping, knocking down the mice as they went. And leading them was the Mouse King. He fought bravely. It was a ferocious battle, but the mice were winning. Out of nowhere, the mice surrounded the Nutcracker, overwhelming him. Marie couldn't help herself. She wanted to protect her Nutcracker. She rushed into the room, she took off her shoe, and she threw it directly at the Mouse King. It knocked him down, and his crown rolled aside. The mice scattered and went and dragged their leader away. The dolls and the Nutcracker stared at Marie, and then, with a breath, they went up in cheer, celebrating their victory. The Nutcracker beckoned over Marie, and she bent down to her friend. "Thank you for saving us. We have been plagued by the Mouse King for so many years. You are our hero, and we will always stay loyal to you." Fritz and Marie joined in the celebrations, and they danced until they dropped. When morning arrived, Marie and Fritz hurried down the stairs to see their friends. But they were all still and lifeless, back in the same positions they had been before the mighty battle. The parents joined them to open their presents, and it was then that Fritz spotted something on the floor. It was the crown that the Mouse King wore. He quickly pocketed it, making sure to keep it as a little trinket. to remind both himself and Marie that some dreams do come true. Oh, the end. It was wonderful to tell my story again. Dankeschön, and Merry Christmas.
It was the most beautiful forest party I had ever seen. All the fairies were wearing beautiful ball gowns, and all the twinkling lights were out throughout the forest, and everybody was dancing and twirling and having them. Oh, sorry, little friend. We're going to have to continue this later. Bye. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm the Sugar Plum Fairy, and I'm so excited. You see, this is my favorite time of the year. Once a year, I get the opportunity to bring people tasty treats, such as cinnamon muffins with cherry syrup and chocolate dots with purple icing. Oh, and my favorite multicolored candy canes flavored with strawberry and mango and lime and so many flavors it makes me dizzy. But sometimes I get to bring people a very special kind of treat, one that lasts a lot longer than any of these sweet treats. My gift to you is a story. The story of the Christmas tree. You see, the Christmas tree is very special to a lot of people all over the world because it remains green even in winter. My story is the story of the very first Christmas tree. A long time ago, in the northern part of the world, there was a huge forest filled with thousands of trees. Because it was the end of autumn, most of the trees had lost their leaves, except for the spruce, pine, and fir trees. All of the animals had been busy collecting all their food for winter, and the birds, they'd all flown south to warmer countries. All of the trees stood strong and close together, protecting each other from the harsh winter. All but one. A lonely little pine tree. You see, the little pine tree, it was too small and withered to be stood next to the other trees. They sometimes laughed at him and jeered at his small size and withered frame. On the last day of autumn, a family was out searching for whatever berries they could find. And in hopes of collecting more, they all took different paths. A little boy named Carl took a path that would bring him far into the forest. He was determined to impress his family. After some time had passed, what Carl found wasn't quite what he was searching for. He wandered on the lonely little pine. Carl walked up to the pine and asked, "Why do you look so sad?" And a little pine tree responded, "I am lonely and cold, and I'm an outcast from my tree family." And Carl felt sorry for the little pine. So he promised that he would return the next day. And Carl fulfilled his promise and more. He spent the day telling the little pine all the stories he had about his friends and family. And the little pine tree really enjoyed Carl's company, and he laughed at all his funny jokes. After some time had passed, Carl realised that the sun was setting. He had to go home soon, he knew, but before he left, he gifted the little pine tree a little piece of yellow ribbon, and he wrapped it all the way around. He said that he had to go to school, but that he'd come back on his day off. And as he left, he couldn't help but feel blue. A little tear rolled down Carl's cheek, and as it hit the ground, he made a wish. He wished that little Pine would no longer be sad or alone. And as he left and the sun disappeared, his wish grew. And it spread throughout the whole forest, to every animal, plant, tree. No longer be sad and alone. No longer be sad and alone. No longer be sad and alone. All the animals started to stir out of their sleep, and all the plants started to speak. And suddenly, the forest queen arose to the humming. She ordered the animals to collect pine cones and vines, and she ordered the plants to grow flowers, and she herself created glowing balls of orange and yellow light. The queen and her followers went to the little pine tree, and she ordered that he be decorated. First the baubles, then the vines. Even some of the animals dug new homes around the pine tree. And when the queen left and the animals were sleeping in their burrows, there the little pine tree was, in all his glory. When Carl returned and saw the little pine tree, what a sight he saw! The little pine tree was just no longer sad or alone. He was happy and celebrated for who he was. He looked majestic, with birds perched on his branches and the little burrows all around. When the little pine tree saw Carl, he called out to him, "Carl! Thank you so much for your selfless and thoughtful gift. I would love to return the favour." And so Carl got a wish of his own, and he hardly took a minute. "I wish that the little pine will come and visit me in my home every winter, so that I can tell it more stories in my warm and cozy house." And the little pine was delighted. Not only did he grant Carl his wish, but he made sure that Carl and his family would prosper for the rest of their lives. So, when you invite the little pine into your house and put your beautiful decorations on it, don't be afraid to make a wish. Oh, but look at the time. I really must be going. I have more people to see, stories to tell. Merry Christmas, everyone.